Welcome back, everyone, to
Hi.
a new episode with Melissa and Andrew.
Yep, today we're going to continue our discussion on financial independence, and we're doing something a little different. We're going to tell you what we think have been our best and our worst purchases that we've made on our journey so far. And maybe some of these will resonate with you. Maybe you've made some of the same mistakes, and maybe you made some of the good purchases that we've made. And if they don't resonate with you, hopefully you can avoid some of the pitfalls that we've made. Alright guys, before we get into the video, be sure to smash that like button, give us some likes, even subscribe to our channel. That way we can get this message to as many people as possible. Without further ado, let's get into it, and why don't we start with our best purchases first?
Alright, so what I feel was one of my best financial purchases was purchasing a home. And to set the stage a little bit, this was back in the year 2009. This was in the midst of the financial crisis and home values were starting to drop. I was still pretty early on in my career, but I had made a conscious decision that I wanted to try and take advantage of some of the home values dropping and the lower purchase and entry price point. And so I made a conscious decision to go ahead and save and try and get enough of a down payment that I could get into a neighborhood that I had an eye on. This was a transition area that was still in my price point. It was still affordable. I would have been able to make the monthly payments on the mortgage, the insurance, and the taxes, the property taxes. So I went ahead and purchased that home for a price tag of $240,000. And we lived in it for 5 years up until the point we were moving to Angola. And at that time, we were able to go ahead and sell it for $380,000, and so that would have been a $140K net profit on the sell. But we also did do some updates and some fixes on the house, which ended up being around $15,000 or so. So at the end of the day, it was a good purchase for us. And with those profits, we put them straight into an investment account and bought some index funds, and we've kept them there, and they continue to grow for us and helped us on our FI journey.
The house was definitely a good purchase, and it helped jumpstart our journey to financial independence. All right, number two. I got number two. It was hiring a maid. I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, these rich people hiring maids. No, we weren't super rich, but we were living in Angola. We had a crazy schedule when we were in Angola. We left our house in the morning at about 4:45. Yes, 4:45, and if we wanted to work out, we had to get up at like 3:30. It was ridiculous. But we left our house at that time, and we would get to work at about 5:45. We worked a full day, and we would normally get home around 5:30 or 6. So the last thing we wanted to do, you can imagine, on the weeknights or the weekends was clean our home. So it was really nice to have someone take care of that for us, so we could just focus on the work week and on the weekends just kind of relaxing and rejuvenating and getting ready for the next work week to come. So we paid our maid about $50 a week, if I'm remembering correctly, and it fluctuated while we were there. It was around $50 a week for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And so it really let us focus on our jobs and just enjoying life in Angola while we were there. Okay, so far we have a house, we have hiring a maid, and now the third one I'm gonna say is kind of small, but I feel like it's really added value to my life, at least I think our life. Yeah. And it's our pin map. It's titled Our Adventures, and it's basically a world map where we put pins into each country that we've gone to. We have a couple of rules. One rule is that we have to have stayed there for 24 hours. So if it's just like an overnight stay on a flight, nope, doesn't get a pin. And we both have to have gone there. Andrew, you've been to Bolivia and
England also.
Yeah, so he's been to those two countries, but I haven't been there, so it doesn't get a pin. It's only if we've both been there for more than 24 hours. And it's just been nice to have it on the wall. It's super motivating to look at it throughout the day or while you're just going about your business. I like to look at the countries we've been to and kind of reminisce about the travels that we've had or what we've done in each country. And it's also motivating because I like to look at it and think of all the places that we've yet to go and that we want to go. So it makes me work harder throughout the day to try and get more money, to take more trips. And finally, it's kind of like a piece of artwork. We have it in our living room. And it's nice to be able to look at it ourselves, but also our guests, when they come over, they'll look at it, see all the places we've gone. It's a good conversation starter, talk about the journey that we've had, and sometimes people have been to the same places and we can compare notes, compare stories, so it's super fun for that also. I got it on Etsy about 7-8 years ago, so I'll put it, if I can find the link, I'll put it in the show notes, and you guys should definitely get one. It's great to just kind of keep track and stay motivated too. And before we go on to our worst purchases, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button below so that way you can get notified when we release new videos every Friday. All right, without further ado, we will now get into our worst purchases we think we've made so far. So we'll get into it. What's your number one?
My number one would be something that is hard to admit because I really enjoyed it at the time, and I think it's the same trap that a lot of young professionals probably fall into, and that was buying a new car. So I bought a new car because I felt I deserved it, and that's probably what a lot of us tell ourselves when it comes to buying a car. I didn't put enough down. I only put around 20%. I should have saved a little bit longer before purchasing it. Also, if I would have known just how much value that car would have lost or was going to lose 5 years later when it came time to sell it when we were moving, I should have just bought a used car. So, knowing what I know now, I should have just bought a used car. I would have paid about half the cost of a new one, and I could have taken those savings on my monthly payments and started investing in index funds and letting those grow and helping us get a little bit further along on our FI journey.
Yeah, well, don't beat yourself up. I have a pretty bad purchase too. Not quite a car, but I used to buy name brand purses. I know. I'm sure a lot of females out there have the same purchase habits. Maybe some men for something else. I don't know, maybe wallets, shoes, belts. But I used to spend too much money on purses. The purse habit started my senior year of college. For some reason, kind of same as you, I felt like I deserved a name brand purse. I felt like for some reason with my part-time job and me working towards a college degree that I deserved a Coach purse. I wanted one of those purses and I bought myself one with a credit card. And it's definitely made me appear to have more money to everyone that I met, I'm sure, than I actually had. But the reality was I put it on a credit card. Even worse than putting on a credit card, I was only paying the minimums back then. So I'm talking, I had $1,000 on my credit card and I was paying $25 a month, which is horrible. So I was also paying about, I don't even know, a 17% interest on that each month. So that one purse that was about $350 was costing me a lot more than that. And then, to make matters worse, I didn't just do it with one purse. This was a habit that continued, gosh, for probably another couple of years, maybe 4 more years. So I probably got a new purse each year, and it just continued, snowballed. I put them on credit cards, made monthly payments, and they were way too expensive. I couldn't afford them. And I just felt like it made me look cool, or it made me look rich. And the reality was I wasn't rich, and I might have looked cool, but it didn't feel cool when I had to make those credit card payments each month. But luckily I wisened up. I kind of learned my lesson. I realized that those purses were costing me too much money. And about 6.5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I bought a purse. Let me get it for you. Let me show you this purse, okay? Let me get it. This guy. This crossbody. It's perfect.
You got this one a while.
Yeah, literally. I got this bad boy. It even has some scratches right there. I don't know if you can see. I got this guy for $150. So still it was pretty pricey. But I have had him for 6.5 years before we went to Angola. Still use it. It works perfectly fine. And I know I always tell you, like, I'm gonna buy a new purse. I found this new purse, and I'm always looking, and it's always in the back of my mind to buy a new purse. But for some reason, I just haven't pulled the trigger. And I think it's just, I keep remembering how I spent so much money early on in my 20s on purses, and it was just really a waste. Like those purses, I'm sure someone's using them now, but I took them to Goodwill when we moved overseas, and I've just been using this guy ever since. He's working great, and maybe I'll get one for Christmas this year. We'll see.
Well, that's kind of a common theme probably with a lot of people, especially when you're younger. You're trying to purchase things that maybe don't make sense now as we've gotten a little bit older and we don't feel like we need to impress anybody. I know I'm the same way, especially with some of the, like for my polos, for instance, I don't feel a need to get the name brand polos anymore. In fact, a lot of times I get them from Costco.
Costco clothes, y'all. If you haven't gone to Costco clothes section, I am a new convert. Like, I am a new convert. Convert. I am a new convert. Like, I literally went right past the Costco clothes section for years until about a year and a half ago. For some reason, I stopped and looked, and oh my gosh. Now, every time I go to Costco, I feel like I get a new piece of clothing. All my clothes are from Costco or Target. Anyways, side note. So yeah, there definitely seems to be a common theme so far with we thought we deserved certain things that didn't really make sense in our life at the time. All right, so we have an expensive first car, we have expensive first couple of purses, and what else do you think?
Probably next up would be holiday decorations.
Oof, that's me, huh? I typically do buy new decorations at Christmas time, or at least I used to. A little history, I grew up in a home where we decorated hard for holidays, especially Christmas time. And I just kind of grew up thinking that was normal, and that's just the way we always had it. And I felt like to have a holiday, you needed all those decorations. So I kind of continued the tradition when I became an adult. And I've since realized that it can get expensive. It can really add up. Each Christmas I would go to the tried and true Hobby Lobby. They have great decorations for all holidays, especially Christmas. And I would just get a few things, you know, a few new strings of lights, a few new ornaments, but I would quickly realize that those things added up, especially when there's several holidays throughout the year, and especially when you go every year and add some new things to your collection. And I've just realized that I don't want to spend that much each year on holiday decorations. So one thing that a girlfriend actually told me, she'll just keep a neutral color theme, so cream, ivory, light brown, and she can add new pieces, but it'll always be in season and always be in style. So that's something that I'm definitely going to adopt moving forward when we move back home to the United States, because I don't want to fall back into that trap. I really want to kind of keep it neutral and keep it classic. All right, so we have expensive purses, expensive cars, and holiday decorations, which is kind of a random one, but fits in nicely. So we had 3 good purchases and 3 unfortunate purchases. So don't fall into the same pitfalls that we fell into. Don't feel like you deserve something just because you're a certain age. You gotta work hard, you gotta save your money hard, and then you can enjoy those things a little bit later in life when you've accumulated more money.
Well, that brings us to the end of this week's video. We hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, we'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, and also if you could go ahead and subscribe to our channel. It would help us in knowing that we have a community we're trying to grow here, and we'll be sure to see you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.